Welcome to the Telium Challenger Series, Dreamforce Special. This one's a shout out to Salesforce and everything that happened last week. We are going to show you how to hook Salesforce up to practically anything in the digital marketing space. My name is Chris Slovak, Global Solutions Consulting VP over here at Telium, and I'm going to focus on how we can adjust marketing when a lead converts or changes a status in Salesforce. Now, to walk you through this, first and foremost, we're going to show you how to set up Telium to update and create records in Salesforce. We're going to configure Salesforce to send data back into AudienceStream when a lead record's been changed. We're going to configure AudienceStream to collect that data, syncing up the two systems. Then, of course, how we can adjust some marketing based on the status. Everything's documented in our Telium Learning community, so go ahead and search for Salesforce Integration Connector and you'll find it. For the workflow, first, somebody's going to come to our website and then they're going to fill out a lead form. When that happens, Telium is going to send that record into Salesforce. A sales rep maybe picks up the lead, starts to work it, makes some adjustments to Salesforce. And when that happens, some Telium Apex code that we've installed will tell Salesforce to send data back into Telium. That puts the two systems into sync. And of course, once it's in Telium's Universal Data Hub, we've got 1,000 plus vendors that we can make it work with. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. And the first thing we're going to look at is our Upsert connector. So essentially, this is our Salesforce connector. And when a lead is created or updated within Telium, we're going to go ahead and push it into Salesforce. We've got our form fields, but we're also going to do some things like hashing the email so we have a nice non-PII link between the two. And then based on some user behavior on the site, maybe they took a demo, they toured the site, things like this. We're going to push those in so that we can have a relevant conversation and see what that user's interested in within our Salesforce interface. Let's bring up our live events so we can track this. Here we've got our sample demo site, and maybe I'm on the tour page taking a look at all of the awesome tools that are available to me. And I decide that I want to take a free trial. So I'm going to go over here. My name is going to be Billy Idle today. I'm going to be Billy at Telium.com, and I'll work for Idle Inc. Go ahead and start our trial. And behind the scenes, Telium is collecting in all these events, so even all the clicks that we have happening here, we're collecting this information. And of course, we're going to send that into Salesforce, creating our lead record. So in here, it looks like we've got finally our form fields fill out, so we start to see the name and the information about that individual. Let's go ahead and bring up Salesforce. Take a look at our leads today, and there's Billy. Now, I'm a salesperson. I'm going to work this record, and I'm going to make a phone call to Billy, and when I do that, I'm going to determine that this is a banking lead, and maybe they're in a warm fashion, and they're contacted. Of course, I would have had a really nice conversation to have with Billy because I know that he watched the demo, and maybe I know that he's a current customer. And in this case, maybe he's interested in a particular product. When I hit save, behind the scenes, a bunch of Salesforce Apex code is running. Don't get too scared about this. We've documented how to set this up. Your Salesforce administrator can help you. Even here at Telium, we can help you. But as I said, go ahead and go into Telium Learning Community. We've got all of this configured and documented so you know exactly how to do it. But what actually happened when I made that update is Salesforce requested or pushed data back in to Telium. In fact, it pushed back all of those updated fields that we changed. So here we can see the lead record. We can see that this is a banking industry. We can see that this person's being worked in contact. And of course, because we've done that, we can start to build attributes and rules and badges. We can actually collect that data against the user within Telium. Effectively, we've got all of the Salesforce data mirrored in that digital profile. Now that we've got these two things in sync, let's go ahead and talk about some of the marketing adjustments that we want to make. The first thing I'm going to focus on is display. Let's go ahead and start with Adwords. And what we're going to do is we're going to add all of our warm banking leads into a custom targeting segment. So we'll add our visitors to a list or a segment. We'll do that based on the source. The source that I've got set up is our warm banking leads here. And we're good to go. Now, of course, we'd have one final step in there, which would be to have added in our Google AdWords segment. But for today's purpose, we're going to keep right there. I'm going to follow up this with adding in our Facebook social campaign. So again, I would have gone in here instead of an account ID, I'd establish a connection and actually hook up through single sign-on to Facebook. In my case with Facebook, instead of actually doing a custom display audience, we're going to do a custom audience, and we're going to use our hashed email. So here we go. We're going to go and take that warm lead that we have, and we're going to use our hashed email as our connection to the email address within Facebook. So now we've got our custom audience set up. Now, I may or may not be using ExactTarget. If I am using ExactTarget or part of something else in the Salesforce Marketing Cloud, it would be really easy to just use that within Salesforce. But not everybody is using all of the Salesforce Marketing Cloud. In my example, perhaps I'm using something like SendGrid to do my emails, or I'm working with Silverpop and IBM. I can actually now extend and use that Salesforce lead status. I can actually use it in any email system in real time. And so in this case, let's go ahead and configure SendGrid. I would have gotten my API key from the solution, and I would have had my API key here and added it. But of course, in my example, really what I want to focus on is adding somebody to a nurture campaign because they're a warm banking lead, right? And again, if I was connected to if I had really set up all this to connect to SendGrid, I would have my list of templates there. The last thing that I want to do in terms of adjusting my marketing, or actually making sure I'm really connecting my marketing in this case, is true up analytics. Because when someone came to the website and they filled out the form, it looks like it's a conversion. It seems like it's a lead generation, but now we know we're actually working that lead. It is actually of a higher value because it has a status that actually makes it qualified. So let's go ahead and update Google Analytics and put in our account ID here. And now, server side, I can actually make an update to the data within Google Analytics. In this case, maybe I'll make an event data call so that I can just sort of flag, hey, this lead record changed, and who are we going to be making these data calls on? We'll might get on our warm banking leads. And of course, I can start to send some data over into Google. I've got all of our standard data values that we can send in, but I also can send custom dimensions or metrics. Dimensions are a great one in this case. In this case, I might say, all right, let's go ahead and send in the fact that they're a current customer. Maybe we have that we got our lead status in here that we had put, our industry that we've put, our ratings, and our status. All right, great. So we would have put 1, 2, 3, and 4, putting those into our our custom dimensions 1 through 4. Now, of course, we went in and we've added in our Google AdWords connector. We added in our Facebook social connector. We added in the fact that we want to add someone to a retargeted campaign in SendGrid. Sometimes I might not want to do all of these at once. I might want to have some frequency capping so that I don't spam my user or create some prioritization. Now, we didn't do that here today. We're going to have some videos on how to do that within our tooling and learning community. But you can, of course, set up frequency capping and an action prioritization. That way, you can kind of do some cross-channel organization and alignment when it comes to this user so that you don't overwhelm them with everything you're trying to get in front of them in terms of a marketing message. Now, of course, that's not all you can do. We've got a lot of great ideas around how you can use this information. You can create informed live chat. That way, when the live chat window pops up, both the customer as well as your live chat operator, they can have a conversation based on the follow-up of what the rep talked about when they had a phone call with the lead. Of course, we could do content optimization based on the status of the lead, or maybe even the status of an opportunity, right? What the sales stage is. That way that they're seeing information that's relevant to where they are in their buying cycle. Of course, because we push data from our web interface and from our digital sort of behavior into Salesforce, right? The fact that this person looked at a demo or looked at specific types of content. When the sales rep picks up the phone and has a conversation, they can have a nice personalized sales call. Better media targeting is very easy. We talked about activating media against social and display targeting based on the lead status, but of course you could do suppression as well. So if this lead doesn't convert or is found to not be of any real value, you can make sure you go and turn off those marketings for that person who had submitted the form. Flexible email and flexible access to really any vendor in the space is critical. Not everybody is using all of the tools within the marketing cloud. So if you're using a different email provider than ExactTarget, now you can easily make sure that when that lead record gets changed in Salesforce, you're syncing up with your email system. And of course, kind of completing the loop of analytics is really important. A lot of times we sort of see these leads go in and we think that they're of value, and it's hard to link back what the actual result was of that lead into the space of web analytics, which is what a lot of companies are using to really understand what the value of all their digital marketing is. Thanks so much for joining me. Please submit your own at tealium.com/challenge. Looking forward to solving more problems.